No philosopher who is interested in the phenomenon of human consciousness can afford to neglect the great treasure of Indian philosophy, one of India's most magnificent gifts to the world, and I think her greatest export over the length of Indian history and civilization. And of course, the West has only fairly recently become immersed in and enamored of the greatness of Indian philosophy, both her orthodox and her heterodox traditions, such as Buddhism. We are extremely privileged today to have with us one of the greatest contemporary exponents of Vedanta, of traditional Indian philosophy, and inspiration not only to millions of Indians, but also around the world. And in a few moments, I will invite you to join me in welcoming His Holiness Sri Ravi Shankar. First, I would like to ask, most people in this distinguished gathering are well acquainted with your life and works. Certainly, most Indians are, and others, Westerners. For the benefit of all of us, could you please summarize your core values and your most essential message?
You want me to say it in one sentence?
Yes.
Improve the
like.
quality
Or two,
of life.
if you like.
Improve the quality of life. To put a smile on everyone's face. You know, it's a wisdom that can bring depth to our life. And the motto of Art of Living is to make life a celebration. To help people come out of conflicts, whether in family, business, or in society.
Wonderful. Thank you. Next question. We can measure things such as scientific data, economic trends, political popularity. These things are all measurable, quantifiable. How can we, and if so, how can we measure spiritual progress?
Well, you know, the word measure comes from the root word in Sanskrit called maya. Maya means that could be measured. And the spirit or the values of life, they cannot be measured. You can't say I have 1 kilo of love in me, or 2.5 kgs of compassion, or 3 liters of happiness. These aspects by which our spirit is made, like love, compassion, happiness, they cannot be measured. And spirituality is that which help you to express these qualities from within you. And so I don't think you can measure. You know, you can't say, I love my children 3 times more than my dogs. Or I love my dog 3 times more than the food I love. You know, these are the things that, that cannot be measured. Life force itself is such a powerful thing inside us that it's beyond measurement. But there are signs which you can notice it. The sign is unshakable confidence. Spiritual growth means unshakable confidence, deep insight, intuition, and ability not to worry.
That's an important
In all adverse situations, this word worry disappears from your dictionary. And these things show that there is a spiritual growth.
Okay, thank you. Indian civilization is one of a precious few to have survived and flourished across the span of recorded human history. How do you account for India's amazing longevity? Is it her spirituality? Is it something else?
Of course, spirituality is the very core of the Indian civilization. If Mahatma Gandhi brought freedom to India, it's not because he was a great intellectual orator or anything like that. He conducted what we call satsangs. He traveled through the length and breadth of India, gathered people, and sang every evening Raghupati Raghav Rajaram, and all from all different religions. An interfaith program was initially initiated by Mahatma Gandhi. And anything in the matter of faith is matter of heart. So it united people, and that is spirituality. So the Vedantic thoughts or spirituality plays a very important role in the sustenance of Indian civilization. No doubt about it. Secondly, there are two ways to look at things. One is the Occident, another is the Orient. In the Occident, you say, first you believe, then one day you will get an experience. One day in the future, you will get an experience. In the Orient, it was completely different. He said, you first have an experience, and then you can believe. Now, the second is very much akin to the law of science. And this is the reason why Oriental philosophy never had any clash with science. Because science also says, first, let me know it, and let me have proof, let me experience, then I will believe. So perhaps this is the reason why the Oriental philosophy never clashed with science. And anything that doesn't clash with science has a long life.
Splendid. In recent decades, apparently in conjunction with globalization, we've witnessed a tremendous growth in the global demand for Indian philosophy. Not only Vedanta and the Orthodox schools, but also Buddhism, which is, of course, a branch, or at least a heterodox branch. So how would you account first for this appetite for Indian spiritual teachings, and also for your particular success in bringing Indian philosophy to the world?
It's the product which speaks, the effectiveness of the knowledge, number one, and its usefulness in day-to-day life. Today people want to, it's applied science is what really moves forward the masses. So this philosophy becoming an applied science, akin to applied science, where it is on a daily basis you can be benefiting from it. That's one thing. And then proper dosage or packaging it properly. That is one thing. That's what we have done for youths. We did separate. We have introduced some games, and through games we teach the same philosophy. And for adults we teach it a little differently. So, and then today people don't have time to sit and learn a philosophy for, or learn anything for months and, invest a lot of time. All they want in a short period of time. They want to get rid of stress. They want to feel better, sense of well-being, sense of working together in team. All this, keeping all this in mind. And short time and deep experience, a spiritual experience, which instills confidence, which instills creativity, and which brings about the best in a human being, is, I think, can be attributed to the success of this knowledge.
Thank you. I would like to come back to this question about science, since you've mentioned it, and the compatibility of ancient Indian philosophy with contemporary science is particularly striking. So let me ask you this. On the one hand, if we can have some dualism for a moment, on the one hand, primarily Western science and technology in the developed world have extended human life expectancy by almost a factor of 2. We have basically doubled life expectancy for those with access to good air, good water, healthcare, and all of that. That's quantity of life. But there are some people who also believe that science and technology can solve the moral problems. And I'm wondering about your view on this. Are science and technology panaceas for all of human ills, or do we need something additionally?
Well, if you say the science of one's life, then it already includes spirituality. Spirituality is learning who I am. Science is knowing what is this, and spirituality is who am I. So they are just extension of one another in that sense. Now the current crisis in society is there is a huge wave of depression, not just in the economic field, but even otherwise. According to World Health Organization, by 2030, one of the biggest killer of human race will be depression. Now, you can't feed half the population with Prozac and other chemicals, and they don't even work after some time. Here we need to learn techniques like yoga, pranayama, breathing, meditation, and they have very well proved to be an alternative for these ills, like drug abuse, alcohol abuse, violence. Violent tendencies can be curbed. Prisons all over the world have now recognized the spiritual practice as one of the way to combat violence in their prisons, in the correction homes.
Absolutely.
This is something very, very interesting, the paradigms have changed.
They have indeed, and we are seeing, so for you there's no essential contradiction at all between science in terms of understanding the so-called external world and science in terms of understanding consciousness and quality of life. You see them as two parts of the same world.
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, in the Indian philosophy of the 6 darshanas, first 3 darshans, they only talk about material science. They say padartha jnanad moksha. Even if you understand one atom thoroughly, your study of one atom, padartha means substance, one substance, that brings you liberation, that frees you. So we never find these two contradictory any time. So we always felt that you had to know 5 elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether, and then mind, intellect, memory. Then comes the self, and that which is beyond self. Atma, beyond Atma is Paramatma. So these are all progressive knowledge on the same lines.
So you must be an optimist about the future of humanity, yes? You believe that we will resolve many of our conflicts, both inner and outer, by spiritual development?
We have to. We have no other way. We have no other go. We have to do that. And we will, I think.
All right. Last question from me, please. This, as you know, is a conference primarily of Indian business leaders and entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I see all stalwarts here.
So, could you tell us briefly, how do your teachings apply specifically to the business world, and how do we manage to see profitability and spirituality coexisting?
Well, this they should say. It's not my topic. But let me see how, in business you need teamwork. When there is no teamwork, there is a lot of loss in productivity. And when the quality of life changes, when there is confidence, when there is reliability, when there is integrity in a person, naturally teamwork is a byproduct. So spirituality can offer teamwork, good teamwork. Second, confidence to take challenges. Third, intuitive ability. Then you know intuitively where to invest, whether that investment is good or not. You know, it's not just gambling, you can do it with your intuition. And intuition never goes wrong. If it goes wrong, it was never an intuition. So intuitive ability, innovative ability comes from the spirit, teamwork, and a sense of belongingness, moreover. You know, and sense of belongingness can curb corruption. See, corruption begins where sense of belongingness ends. That's the boundary. And nobody can do corrupt practices with people whom they think they belong to them. It only happens outside that purview. So in India, this is a big challenge. So creating a sense of belongingness, sense of togetherness, and responsibility, time factor, all these things can come up when the quality of life improves. And again, I don't think they will have to take a lot of time. No, just a few minutes of meditation, sharing a meal together in the factories, in the workplaces, and sitting together and meditating can just make a difference. And it has made difference in number of companies.
Great. I think we should ask for some questions
Yeah,
from the
yeah,
audience
sure,
now. We have
sure.
a couple of mics. Would anyone like this opportunity? Gentleman in the back and the gentleman in the front.
I have met you earlier. My question is to you, how you resolve this conflict. A human mind only creates when there is a inner conflict. You create, and without wealth creation, there is no means to do this spiritual thinking and other thinking. This is the reason why today India is lacking, because there is no wealth creation. Whereas we all come to the West because there is a way to create the wealth. So how you suggest this conflict can be removed? I hope my question is very clear.
You mean to say you need inner conflict to create wealth outside?
Otherwise, I am a relaxed person. I am a relaxed person. If I do not have a need.
I got your point. I got your question. If conflict and frustration is the source of creativity, then Lebanon and Afghan should have been the most creative part of the world. They are suffering from inner conflict, outer conflict, all type of conflict, all through 40 years, maybe 50 years now. Now, again, inner fulfillment does not mean complacence. Doesn't mean laziness. You know, you can be content and you can be dynamic. Contentment does not mean laziness. Unfortunately, people have mistaken laziness for contentment. This is the problem. Laziness is not contentment, nor conflict is not the source of creativity.
Gentleman at the back.
We often hear the expression, cleanliness is next to godliness. And when we talk about spirituality, there are many opportunities with the present government even to join campaigns such as the Clean India movement to really affect the way the 1.3 billion people live in India. India, of course, is open defecation capital of the world. Do you see an opportunity to work with the government on similar campaigns addressing poverty or cleanliness, or do you think spirituality and government programs regarding social services should always be kept separate?
You know, we had started cleanliness campaign much before. In 2009, we started our first cleanliness campaign in the village called Jalna, in the town called Jalna. The entire city, the whole population came out on streets with the broomsticks and cleaned the whole village, whole town. So this campaign we have been doing long time. Now when the government has inspired people to do, it has taken up a more, bigger dimension. But many NGOs are doing this all the time. We have started in 1990 the 5H program, that's health, hygiene, harmony in diversity, human values, and cleanliness is one part of that. Homes for the poor people, all this we have been doing.
We have many questions. We have time only for two more. This gentleman and then the man at the back with two hands in the air. One question.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vinod Bansal. My question is, spirituality is meant to help for a positive change in the society. Do you think spirituality has attained its goal in last 10 to 15 years? Do you think that corporates would be able to do business with spirituality and ethics? Thank you.
Yes. Spirituality has attained, spirituality itself is a goal. It has nothing to attain, first of all. If spirituality has another goal to attain, then it's no spirituality. So, that answers the first question. Second question, I would say, yes, definitely, corporates can benefit very much by this. Every corporation wants people with integrity, people with honesty, people with dedication. And these qualities can be created in people. Everyone has this as potential inside them.
Last question from the
Thank you very much. My name's Karan Bilamoria, and last month I hosted an event in the House of Lords for my fellow parliamentarians to celebrate the UN International Yoga Day for the first time. And we had my MPs in the House of Lords, we were in our suits doing yoga and breathing exercises from one of your team, as well as mindfulness. Could you try and explain to us the difference between mindfulness and meditation, if there is any, and the benefits?
Well, mindfulness is an impact of meditation that happens automatically. But later on, people have recently started with this word, because some people are allergic to word meditation. So they started mindfulness, some new jargon would appeal to people, that's all. But that's just, I would say, just a portico of meditation, not meditation itself.
Thank you. I am sure that we would all benefit from questioning Sri for another hour or two. I'm afraid we have to close the session. Please join me in thanking His Holiness Sri Ravi Shankar for spending this wonderful time with us.